Buying a home. I mean, for a lot of us, that's the dream, right? You scroll through pictures online, you walk through a few houses, find the one you love, sign a few papers, and boom, you get the keys. Sounds pretty simple. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you what really happens behind the scenes.
And then you have this moment. You know the one. You walk into a place and it just clicks. You can already see yourself living there. You know exactly where the Christmas tree is going to go. It's that huge emotional rush, the feeling that makes all the stress totally worth it. But here's the thing. Getting from that amazing, this is it feeling to actually holding the keys in your hand, that's a whole other story. It's like an iceberg. What we all see is just the happy, exciting tip sticking out of the water. So what's hiding under the surface? Get this, over 170 individual tasks. That's right, the research we're looking at today breaks down everything, from the work that happens before a house is even listed to the follow-up after you've moved in. It is a massive amount of work that has to go perfectly for it all to come together.
So let's start where it all begins, at the very bottom of that iceberg. This is all the foundational work, the prep that has to happen way before anyone even thinks about going to an open house. A really smart home search doesn't actually start with looking at homes. It starts with data. For a seller, this means digging into comparable sales and property records to figure out the perfect price. And for a buyer, it's all about getting your financial ducks in a row, knowing what you can really afford, and getting super clear on your must-haves versus your nice-to-haves.
And honestly, this might be the most important first step of all. It's about grounding that big dream in today's reality. A huge part of the process is matching your budget to what the market is actually doing. So you're not just wishing, you're making a strategic plan.
All right, the groundwork is laid. Now it's time for the fun part, finding that house and making your move. This is where we get into the active hunt and the, let's be honest, pretty high-stakes process of making an offer. So you ever wonder where all those listings you see online actually come from? Well, most of them are powered by the local MLS, which stands for Multiple Listing Service. Think of it like the central hub for real estate. It's this private database that agents use to share verified, up-to-the-minute info, which makes sure sellers get their homes seen by the most people and buyers get the most options. And getting seen like that makes a huge difference. Check this out. A study by Bright MLS found that homes listed on the MLS sell for, on average, almost 15% more than similar homes sold off-market. That's a massive difference, and it all comes from creating a marketplace that's competitive and transparent. Okay, so you found the one. Now, making an offer, it is so much more than just picking a price. A truly winning offer is a whole strategic package. You've got the price, sure, but you also have contingencies, things like inspections and appraisals, plus a timeline. In a hot market, this is where having deep market analysis helps you put together an offer that works for you, but also really stands out to the seller. So you made an offer and they accepted it. Congratulations! You might be thinking you're at the finish line, but you've actually just walked into what is, a lot of the time, the most complicated and nail-biting part of the whole thing. Seriously, the road from an accepted offer to closing day is like running an obstacle course. First, you have to get through the home inspection, which could turn up issues you need to negotiate. Then, the bank's appraisal has to come in and confirm the house is actually worth what you're paying. All the while, your loan is in its final stages of approval, and a literal mountain of paperwork is growing. Any one of these steps can be a hurdle that could trip up the entire deal. And who's juggling all these moving parts? This is where it starts to feel a bit like a space launch, and the agent is basically mission control. They're the single point of contact between your lender, the seller's agent, the title company, the appraiser, the inspector. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Just keeping everyone on the same page and on schedule is a full-time job. And the level of detail is just incredible. We're talking about things you would probably never even think of. Like, an agent's job often includes explaining the very real, very scary risk of wire fraud, or reminding you to do something simple but so important, like getting the locks rekeyed the day you move in. So when you zoom out and look at all those hidden steps, all the research, the coordination, the negotiations, the problem solving, it brings up a really important question. What's the real value of having an expert to guide you through all this? Well, let's just look at the data. According to the National Association of Realtors, homes that are sold directly by their owners, for sale by owner, they typically sell for about 26% less than homes sold with an agent. That huge gap is often the dollar value of professional marketing, negotiation skills, and expert management. This really lays out the choice pretty clearly, doesn't it? With an expert, you've got someone whose job it is to navigate the legal maze and the financial complexities. When you're on your own, every single one of those jobs falls on your shoulders. You basically have to become a part-time expert in contracts, finance, and local market trends, all while you're trying to manage one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Which really brings us to the final question. Buying or selling a home isn't just a transaction, right? It's a huge life event, and it's filled with all sorts of complexities and risks. So when you look at the entire iceberg, not just the little bit you can see, you have to ask yourself, in a moment this big, what is that peace of mind worth? Definitely something to think about.